dust and scratches. I'm not trying to sharpen it, okay? Does anybody know why I would do that? Simply, it's much better to do your corrections in the photo editing program. A scanner software is just that. It's meant to take whatever you have on the glass and translate it digitally onto your computer. That's really all it's really good for. There is some good scanner software out there like ViewScan, but for the average person, just do your corrections in Photoshop Elements. Almost done. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've got another photograph that's 16 by 20 on, I want to say canvas or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
And I can take it out of the frame, so that's not the issue, but I didn't want to lay it on a scanner bed like that. I was hoping I could find like a bigger, like a 16 by 20 or larger scanner bed that I could do that.
Yeah, you'll be looking forever. Yeah, those things are kind of dying out. There are such things as large scanners that were used in print shops, but
What about going someplace where they have blueprints?
Well, I went to Kinko's and a couple other places, and they had scanners, but they bent the print. They were like a roller kind of scanner.
Yeah,
I didn't want to mess with them.
If you can't fold or think or stomach the idea of folding the picture, definitely. You're gonna have to shoot it. You're gonna have to do copy shots, and then maybe scan just the faces and put that in there. It takes some work, but it's really worth it at the end. Okay. So let's look at this thing close up. Now in Photoshop CS2 and above and Elements, I think Photoshop Elements 5 and above, I believe, it will allow you to stitch together a photograph for you automatically. So I'm going to show you that. It's called Photo Merge. And once you get that started, you tell it where your pictures are. And I'm going right there. Okay, I have to do it as an individual file. So I'm telling it where these files are. It's the last 3 scans that we made. So 2, 3, and 4. Click open. Great. We wanted to attempt to automatically arrange source images. And we'll click OK. And now it's working. And you'll see, let's see if I can get this over here. Nah, it's not showing us the layers yet. It's just opening the pictures. But now what it's doing, it opens all of them up and automatically starts to lay it out. Now you can do this on your own, and you might, after doing an automated process like this, you might have to do it yourself too. But at least Photoshop can get you started. Great. All right, it says it could not do it perfectly. Let's just say this is good enough. Let me click OK. And we can fix it ourselves. We can fine tune it ourselves. And it's almost done. I think I should have told it to stay in layers. And we're going to look at the texture, and we're going to look at that silver in the shadow areas. I like to call it salt and pepper because you don't see it on the print just looking at it, but once you scan it, it shows up, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. It's still working. Any other questions? Okay. It's nice and cool outside, isn't it?
Eric, I have a suggestion for the lady with a really big print.
Yeah.
Call around to some smaller local business places, maybe not like the Kinko's, because I know in my office we have a large photocopier that also scans. And it's like most photocopiers, it's got a big bed on it. And you can even select, whether it's photo and text or just photo. And it actually scans it to a file. Of course, we're all wired, and so it sends it to my computer over our internal server.
How big is that glass of that copier?
It's big.
What do you think? It's like 11 by 17, 11 by
17 in here. Some
It even looks bigger. It looks real. It's huge.
Yeah. So there's something there like that.
So
That's,
there's Xerox
thank you.
machines.
A regular Xerox machine, and they can scan pretty good. They do pretty good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You know, you might try are the architectural blueprint services.
Blueprint services. Yeah.
Paper assembled.
Check
I
out.
tried some of those, and the problem was they had these roller kind
A roll, yeah,
things
yeah,
instead of flat
yeah.
plate scanners.
And there's drum scanners too, which, yeah.
So-
Well, you just keep looking, but then again, a good photographer will make you a good copy shot. A good photographer can make you a nice copy shot. And if you direct him, tell him, okay, now I want you to get the faces.
Yeah, okay.
And then he'll give you the files, There's a lot of ways to do it.
I didn't know there's a fellow there who has a gallery, and he does services for artists, and he takes pictures of their photographs and their artworks.
Okay.
And so he's very high density, and
You mean camera? He shoots with a high resolution camera?
right,
Okay.
resolution digital camera.
Yeah.
And because these people make prints out of them, large prints,
Exactly.
and things like that, so they need high resolution.
Yeah, he's not messing with any 4 megapixel camera phone on that.
He's got it.
Yeah.
It's like an old 8x10, with glass slides.
Right. Which will be obsolete next year, by the way. So let's do this. Photoshop finished working, and we want to rotate this picture and do a quick overall. Let's see how it did. Okay. So I think it did pretty good, because we had 3 different photos. Now see these missing areas, we can get that in later. We can just do some more scans if we had to. But, for demonstration purposes, we can't do that right now. But that's what I would do. I would just do a couple more scans. I would give Photoshop more to work with. And then I would readjust them in this layer palette over here. However, it merged all the layers for me. There should have been about 4 layers there. So I didn't tell it to keep them in layers. So pardon me. Okay, let's look at what he's talking about here. Okay. So if you look in the dark areas here, look right there in his jacket. Okay? Kind of hard to see on the screen, okay, from up there, but it's very light colored. The reason why that happens is because the silver is coming up. The silver that wasn't washed out of the print is starting to come up, and the scanner, the light bulb, goes by it and it reflects. The silver reflects the light from that light bulb. So, just checking my watch. How are we doing on time? Don't tell me it's almost 3 o'clock. When did I start? Did I start at 2? No. Oh, okay. Whew. I'm thinking I started at 2. Okay. So, let's do an overall correction, first of all. There we go. See those lines? No, you can't see them. You see those lines going through the jackets? Yeah. You see it in the dark area there? That's what he's talking about. It really shows up. Okay, let's see if I can get closer and you can still see it. Good.
Oh, there you go.
Okay? Now see, that's the bumpy texture. So not only do we have the silver problem, but we got this. Okay? Let's do this. I want to make a adjustment layer with hue and saturation. And I'm going to work in layers because this will allow me to go back and forth easier. It just allows me to be more flexible. And I'll pull that saturation all the way out. And there's some higher versions of Photoshop, which I don't have on this computer. They have this real nice